The text message came through while I was reviewing quarterly reports for the Henderson account. Mom's name flashed on my screen and I already knew something was wrong. She only texted during work hours when she needed something immediately. Need to talk about Emma's party. Call me. I stepped out of my office and dialed. She answered on the first ring. Sweetheart, I have wonderful news, Mom began, her voice bright with forced cheerfulness. Your sister is having a gender reveal party and we're all so excited. That's great, Mom. When is it? Well, that's the thing. She wants it on the 15th and I know that's Emma's graduation celebration, but this is really important. A new baby is more special than graduation. Emma will understand. I stood in the hallway, phone pressed to my ear, watching my colleagues move past me with their coffee cups and file folders. Emma had circled that date on our kitchen calendar 3 months ago. She'd been planning her dress, her speech thanking her teachers, the playlist she wanted played during dinner. Mom, we already booked the venue. Emma invited her friends. I know, honey, but your sister really has her heart set on the Riverside Inn. It's the perfect place for photos. You can do Emma's thing another weekend. She's only 18. She won't even remember this in a few years. My daughter would absolutely remember this. She'd remember that her grandmother chose her aunt's unborn baby over her hard-earned achievement. 4 years of honor roll. 3 years as student council president. A full scholarship to the state university. Does it have to be that specific venue? I asked. Yes. Your sister already looked everywhere else. Everything's booked. Please, just this once, put family first. I thought about arguing. I thought about listing all the reasons why this was unfair. Why Emma deserved this celebration, why my sister had months to plan and shouldn't get to hijack Emma's event. But I'd learned years ago that arguing with my mother only made things worse. I'll handle it, I said. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I knew you'd understand. You're always so reasonable. She hung up before I could say anything else. I walked back into my office and sat down. My assistant, Marcus, poked his head in. Everything okay? Family stuff, I said. Hey, do you have the contact list from the Riverside account? Sure, 1 second. He disappeared and returned with a folder. Here. Why? Just need to make a call. I found the number I needed. Thomas Whitmore, owner of the Riverside Inn. I'd been managing his investment portfolio for 15 years, since he'd inherited the property from his father and didn't know the first thing about wealth management. That initial consultation had turned into a relationship that had tripled his net worth. I dialed his direct line. Jennifer, Thomas answered warmly. To what do I owe the pleasure? I need a favor, Thomas. Or rather, I need to know something. Anything. Did my mother try to book your venue for June 15th? There was a pause. Actually, yes. About an hour ago. She said it was for a family celebration. I told her we already had a booking for that date. A graduation party. She got quite insistent, said there must be some mistake. There's no mistake. That graduation party is for my daughter, Emma. Oh. Another pause. Your mother didn't mention that. I'm sure she didn't. What exactly did she say? She asked if I could contact the other party and offer them a different date. Said her event was more important. Something about a new baby. She offered to pay double the deposit. I closed my eyes. Of course she did. Thomas, I need you to do something for me. When my mother calls back, and she will call back, I need you to explain exactly who booked that venue first. I can do that. Should I mention our business relationship? Only if she pushes. But Thomas, whatever happens, that venue stays booked for Emma's party. Consider it done. That girl deserves her celebration. I thanked him and hung up. Then I called Emma's school to confirm the graduation ceremony time. Then I called the caterer, the photographer, the DJ. Everything was still on schedule. Everything would stay on schedule. That evening, Emma came home from her part-time job at the library. She dropped her bag by the door and headed straight for the kitchen, where I was chopping vegetables for dinner. Grandma called me, she said quietly. I set down the knife. What did she say? She said you agreed to cancel my party. She said I should be more mature about sharing special moments with family. Emma's voice cracked. Mom, did you really cancel it? No, baby. I did not cancel your party. But Grandma said the venue. The venue is still booked for your party. Nothing has changed. Emma studied my face, looking for certainty. Promise. I promise. Your party is happening exactly as planned. She hugged me tight and fierce the way she used to when she was little. Thank you. After she went upstairs to study, my phone rang. Mom's name appeared again. What did you do? She demanded. No greeting, no preamble. I made sure Emma's party stays on the calendar. The venue owner said the date is booked and he can't move it. I offered him double the money, Jennifer. Double. He refused. That's because the booking is solid. Well, call him and unbook it. Your sister is distraught. She's been crying all afternoon. Mom, Emma booked that venue 3 months ago. She sent invitations. Her friends requested time off work. Her teachers are coming. So we'll do it the next weekend. What's the big deal? The big deal is that Emma earned this celebration. She worked for 4 years for this moment. And your sister is bringing a new life into this family. That's more important than some party. I took a breath. Let it out slowly. No, Mom. It's not. Excuse me. Emma's graduation is not some party. It's recognition of her hard work. And you don't get to decide it's less important than my sister's event. I'm your mother. I'm telling you to fix this. I can't fix it. The venue is booked. Then unbook it. I can't do that either. Why not? Her voice went sharp with suspicion. What's really going on here? Nothing is going on. The venue has a booking. That's all. Jennifer Marie, if you don't fix this right now, there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? Your sister is my daughter too. If I have to choose between supporting her big moment and yours, well, you're making that choice very easy. She hung up. I sat at the kitchen table listening to Emma's music drifting down from upstairs. Some pop song about being strong. I thought about all the times I'd smoothed things over, kept the peace, been the reasonable one. Not this time. 2 days later, my sister called. Her voice was careful, measured. Mom told me about the venue situation. Did she tell you it's Emma's graduation party? Silence. Then, no. She said there was a scheduling conflict with some work event of yours. It's not a work event. It's your niece's graduation celebration. She's had it booked for 3 months. I didn't know that. Mom said the venue was available and that you were being difficult about sharing it. Your gender reveal sounds wonderful and I'm happy for you. But Emma's party was scheduled first. My sister sighed. Look, I don't want family drama. Mom's been calling me every few hours about how you're ruining everything. Can't we find a compromise? What kind of compromise? Maybe combine them? A dual celebration. I thought about that. Emma's formal dinner with her teachers and academic mentors, mixed with a gender reveal covered in pink and blue decorations. Emma's carefully curated playlist interrupted by baby-themed games. That won't work. Why not? Because Emma deserves her own day. She's worked incredibly hard. This is her moment. And this is my moment too. Then find another venue. Or another date. Emma had hers first. Mom said you have connections with the owner. She said you could fix this if you wanted to. There was. Mom had been digging, making assumptions, putting pieces together. I do have connections with the owner. That's how I knew Emma's booking was secure. So you could get us in. I could. But I won't. Emma's party stays as scheduled. My sister's voice hardened. You always do this. You act all noble and protective, but really you just want to be the favorite. This isn't about being the favorite. It's about honoring commitments. Fine. But don't expect me to come to Emma's little party. She hung up. The following week, Mom stopped by my house unannounced. I was working from home, taking video calls with clients. She let herself in with the key I'd given her years ago for emergencies. We need to talk, she announced, standing in my home office doorway. I muted my microphone and told my client I'd be right back. Then I followed Mom to the kitchen. This has gone on long enough, she said. Your sister is extremely hurt. The family is falling apart over your stubbornness. The family is falling apart because you tried to cancel Emma's party without asking me first. I'm asking you now. Call the venue. Make this right. No. Jennifer. Mom, stop. The answer is no. Emma's party is happening. If my sister wants a gender reveal at the Riverside Inn, she can book a different date. There are no other dates available this summer. Then she can choose a different venue. There are dozens of beautiful places within 30 miles. Mom's face flushed. You know what your problem is? You never learned to share. Even as a child, everything had to be yours. Your toys, your space, your attention. This isn't about sharing. This is about respect. Respect? You're disrespecting your entire family. I'm protecting my daughter. From what? From having to share one day with her aunt's celebration? From learning that the world doesn't revolve around her. I stood up. You need to leave now. Don't you dare. Mom, leave. We'll talk when you're ready to be reasonable. She stared at me shocked. Then she grabbed her purse and stormed out. The door slammed hard enough to rattle the windows. That evening, Emma found me on the back porch. She sat down beside me on the steps. Grandma's really mad, isn't she? Yes. Is it because of me? It's because of her. Not you. Maybe I should just tell her it's okay. That we can move the party. I turned to look at my daughter. Do you want to move the party? No. But I don't want you fighting with Grandma either. Sometimes standing up for what's right means people get upset. That's okay. You're worth standing up for. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Thanks, Mom. June 15th arrived sunny and warm. I drove to the riverside in early to meet with the coordinator. Thomas was there too, checking on details personally. Everything's perfect, he assured me. We're ready for Emma's big day. Thank you for this, Thomas. Really? Hey, you've made me a lot of money over the years. Least I can do is make sure one teenage girl gets the party she deserves. He paused. Your mother called again yesterday. Offered triple the original rate. What did you tell her? That some bookings are sacred. That business isn't always about the highest bidder. He smiled. She asked how I could turn down that much money. I told her I'd take care of the people who take care of me. Then she asked if I was talking about you, and I said I was talking about honoring commitments. Did she say anything else? She asked how long I'd known you. When I said 15 years, she got very quiet. Then she asked if you'd ever mentioned Emma's party to me. I said you'd booked it months ago and confirmed it multiple times. Then she hung up. The party was beautiful. Emma wore a blue dress she'd saved for months to buy. Her teachers gave speeches about her leadership and dedication. Her friends presented a slideshow of photos from 4 years together. The food was elegant, the music perfect, the sunset over the river spectacular. Mom didn't come. Neither did my sister. But Emma didn't seem to notice. She was surrounded by people who celebrated her. Truly celebrated her, without conditions or comparisons. As I watched Emma laugh with her friends, making toasts and taking photos, my phone buzzed with a text from Thomas. Your mother showed up at the entrance. Security stopped her. She tried to explain she's Emma's grandmother. I told them the guest list is final. She's currently in the parking lot. Should I call the police? I looked at Emma, radiant and happy, unaware of the drama outside. No, I texted back. Let her sit there if she wants. But she doesn't come in. Another text came through, this time from Mom. You'll regret this. Family is everything and you just chose to destroy it. I deleted the message and turned off my phone. Then I walked over to Emma and put my arm around her shoulders. Having fun? I asked. Best night of my life, she said, beaming. Thank you for making this happen. You made it happen, sweetheart. I just made sure nothing got in your way. She hugged me tight and I knew I'd made exactly the right choice. Some battles are worth fighting. Some boundaries are worth defending. And some daughters are worth every bit of family drama that comes with protecting their joy. The party went late into the evening. Emma danced with her friends, cut her graduation cake, and gave a short speech thanking everyone who'd supported her journey. When it was finally time to leave, she was exhausted and happy, her face glowing with the kind of pure contentment that comes from feeling truly valued. As we drove home, she said quietly, Grandma didn't come. I know. Is she ever going to forgive us? Eventually. And if she doesn't, that's her choice. But you deserved today exactly as it was. Emma nodded, then smiled. It was perfect, Mom. Absolutely perfect. And it was. The envelope sat on my kitchen counter just like it had every month for the past 7 years. $3,000 in a certified check made out to my parents. Mom, can I wear the blue dress to Grandma's party? My daughter Emma stood in the doorway. She was 9 years old, with bright eyes that still held hope my parents would eventually warm up to her. I'd fostered Emma when she was 4 and adopted her at 6. She was mine in every way that mattered, but my parents had never accepted it. Still, every month I sent that check. The blue dress is perfect, sweetheart, I said, pulling her into a hug. My phone buzzed. Mom's name flashed across the screen. Make sure you're on time tomorrow, she said without preamble. And dress appropriately. Senator Mitchell's daughter will be there and I don't want any embarrassment. We'll be there at 2, I replied. We. Her voice sharpened. You're not bringing that child, are you? I felt my jaw tighten. Emma is my daughter. Don't be ridiculous, Sarah. This is a sophisticated gathering. Family only. You know she doesn't fit in with our circle. I looked at Emma, who was humming to herself while organizing her hair clips, oblivious to the conversation. She is family, Mom. She's a foster child you took pity on. There's a difference. Anyway, I've already arranged the seating chart. There's no place for her. She paused. Unless you want to cause a scene in front of the senator's family. The call ended before I could respond. I stared at the phone for a long moment, then at the envelope on the counter. 7 years of envelopes. $84,000. But it wasn't just the monthly checks, was it? The next morning, Emma was unusually quiet during breakfast. Are you okay, honey? I asked. She pushed her cereal around the bowl. I heard Grandma on the phone yesterday. My heart sank. Emma. It's okay, she said quickly, though her eyes were glassy. I know I'm different. I know they don't think I'm real family. I knelt beside her chair. You are real family. You're my daughter and that's all that matters. Then why do we keep trying to make them like me? Her voice was small. I didn't have a good answer for that. At 1 o'clock I texted my mom, we won't be able to make it today. Emma has a stomachache. The response came within seconds. Convenient. Maybe it's for the best anyway. I sat with that message for a full minute, reading it over and over. Maybe it's for the best anyway. Something crystallized in that moment. A clarity I'd been avoiding for years. I opened my laptop and pulled up my banking records. The monthly payments to my parents were there, neat and consistent. But there was more. 4 years ago, I'd quietly paid off Dad's $85,000 business debt. The payment went through an LLC I'd set up. 3 years ago, I'd sent $45,000 for their kitchen renovation through a contest Mom had supposedly won. 2 years ago, I paid the $28,000 in property taxes on their Lake Tahoe vacation home when they were about to sell it. 6 months ago, I'd paid $52,000 for Dad's cardiac procedure through the hospital's financial aid program. I'd been supporting them for years, always anonymously, always protecting their pride. Because they were my parents and I loved them. But they just told me my daughter wasn't worthy of our name. I picked up my phone and called my accountant, David. I need you to pull all documentation of financial support I've provided to James and Patricia Morrison over the past 7 years, I said. Every payment, every transaction, every property record. David was quiet for a moment. Are you sure, Sarah? This is your parents we're talking about. I'm sure. I also need you to prepare formal notification that all future support is being terminated, effective immediately. And David, I want them to know about the vacation home. The one in Tahoe. The one you bought. The one I bought, I confirmed. That they think they own. Another pause. This is going to be a shock to them. Yes, I said quietly. It is. Emma appeared in the doorway. Mom? Are you okay? I smiled at her and for the first time in months, it felt genuine. I'm perfect, sweetheart. How would you like to spend the weekend at the lake house? Her face lit up. Really? Just us. Just us. We'll leave in the morning. After Emma went to bed that night, I received the first call. Dad's number. Sarah, we just received the strangest letter from some accounting firm, he said. His voice had that jovial confusion he used when he didn't want to acknowledge something serious. It says something about a review of financial arrangements. Is this some kind of scam? It's not a scam, Dad. That's my accountant. Your accountant? Why would your accountant be contacting us? I took a breath. Because I've been financially supporting you for 7 years, and that support is ending. Silence. That's absurd, he finally said. We don't need your support. Your mother and I are perfectly capable. Dad, I've been sending you $3,000 a month since 2018. I paid off your business debt in 2021. I paid for your kitchen renovation, your property taxes, and your medical procedure. The documentation is all in the packet David sent. More silence. Then, even if that were true, why would you stop now? Because Mom told Emma she wasn't real family. Because she's not welcome at your party. Because I'm done pretending my daughter isn't good enough for people she's been supporting without even knowing it. Now wait just a minute. I'm not done, Dad. That vacation home in Tahoe? Check your property records. Look at who's actually on the deed. I could hear papers rustling, Mom's voice asking what was wrong. This can't be right, Dad said. This says Sarah Morrison is the legal owner? That's correct. When the property taxes tripled and you were going to sell, I bought it. I've been paying all expenses for 2 years while letting you use it. That arrangement is also ending. Mom grabbed the phone. You bought our house. Without telling us. I bought a house and let you use it because you're my parents. But Emma is my daughter, and she deserves better than being told she's not worthy of our family name. This is emotional blackmail, Mom hissed. It's my property. My money. My choice. Just like it was your choice to exclude my daughter. We'll fight this, Dad said. We'll get lawyers. Everything is perfectly legal and documented. You're welcome to keep the house. You just have to start paying for it. The property taxes are due next month. That's $14,000. Then there's the $3,200 monthly maintenance fee, utilities, and insurance. The line went dead. I sat in the silence of my kitchen waiting to feel guilty. Waiting to feel like I'd made a mistake. Instead, I felt lighter than I had in years. The next morning, Emma and I loaded up the car for Lake Tahoe. As we pulled out of the driveway, my phone started ringing. Mom. Then Dad. Then Mom again. I let them go to voicemail. We were an hour into the drive when Emma asked, Are we really going to the lake house? Won't Grandma and Grandpa be mad? It's our lake house, honey. And yes, they might be mad. But that's okay. Is this because of what Grandma said about me? I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. This is because you deserve to be treated like the precious, loved, real member of this family that you are. And anyone who can't see that doesn't get the privilege of being in your life, even if they're related to me. She was quiet for a moment. Even grandparents? Especially grandparents. They should know better. When we arrived at the lake house, there was a car in the driveway. My parents' car. I felt Emma tense beside me, but I squeezed her hand. It's okay. Stay here for a minute. Mom and Dad were on the porch and they didn't look happy. You can't keep us out of our own house, Mom said immediately. I held up my phone showing the property deed David had sent. My house. My name on the deed. My decision. After everything we've done for you, Dad said, his face red. We raised you. We paid for your education. You paid for 2 years of community college before I got scholarships, I interrupted. And I'm grateful for that. But I've paid you back many times over. Check your bank records. Check every mysterious windfall you've had for the past 7 years. That was all me, Dad. All me. Mom's face had gone pale. The contest money? Me. The anonymous donor for the property taxes? Me. The financial aid for Dad's procedure? Also me. They stood there processing. I could see the calculations happening. The realization of just how dependent they'd become on money they hadn't known was mine. Why didn't you tell us? Dad finally asked, and for the first time he sounded genuinely confused rather than angry. Because you needed help and I could give it and I didn't need the credit. I did it because you're my parents and I love you. I paused. But love goes both ways, Dad. And Emma is my daughter. She's not a foster child I took pity on. She's not a charity case. She's mine, just as much as I'm yours. More actually because I chose her and she chose me. Mom's eyes were wet. We didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant every word. You've been meaning it for 5 years. Every time you forgot her birthday, every time you made an excuse not to see her, every time you introduced me without mentioning that I had a daughter. I felt my voice crack but push through. I kept hoping you'd change. I kept thinking that if I was patient enough, generous enough, you'd eventually see what I see when I look at her. But you won't. And I'm done waiting. Emma had gotten out of the car and was standing beside me now, holding my hand. Mom looked at her. Really looked at her, maybe for the first time. Emma's sweetheart. It's okay, Mrs. Morrison, Emma said quietly. Mom says we can't make people love us. We can just decide who we let love us back. Out of the mouths of 9-year-olds. Dad cleared his throat. Sarah, we can discuss this. We can work something out. There's nothing to discuss. You're welcome to have a relationship with your granddaughter if you can treat her with the respect and love she deserves. But the financial support is over. The free use of this house is over. I'll give you until tomorrow morning to remove your personal belongings, and then I'm having the locks changed. You'd really do this? Mom asked. Over a child who isn't even blood-related? And there it was, the thing they'd been thinking all along finally said out loud. She's not just related to me, Mom. She's my daughter. My real, actual, legal, and most importantly, chosen daughter. And yes, I really would do this for her. I'd do anything for her. I pulled Emma closer. Because that's what real family does. We left them standing on the porch and walked into the house, my house, to start our weekend together. My phone buzzed constantly over the next few hours. Calls, texts, voicemails. My uncle called asking what was going on. My aunt sent a long text about family obligations. Apparently, my parents were making calls, trying to rally support and paint me as the unreasonable one. I blocked their numbers and turned off my phone. Emma and I spent the evening on the dock watching the sunset over the lake. She was quiet, processing everything that had happened. Do you think they'll ever understand? She asked. I don't know, honey. Maybe. Maybe not. Are you sad? I thought about it honestly. A little. But mostly I'm relieved. And I'm proud of us. Proud of us. Proud that we know our worth. Proud that we don't settle for people who make us feel small. Proud that we have each other. She leaned against me. I love you, Mom. I love you too, Emma. My real, true, chosen daughter. The next morning, my parents' car was gone from the driveway. They'd left a note on the kitchen counter. We'll be in touch through our lawyer. I crumpled it up and threw it away. David called later that afternoon. Your parents' attorney contacted me. They want to negotiate a settlement where they keep the house in exchange for forgiving your debt to them for raising you. I actually laughed. Tell them no. Tell them they have until Friday to pay the first month's rent if they want to keep using the property, or I'm listing it for sale. You're really doing this. I really am. 3 days later, I received a different kind of call. My aunt, the reasonable one in the family. I heard what happened, she said. From both sides. I braced myself for the lecture. I think you did the right thing, she continued. I've watched them treat Emma like an afterthought for years. I've watched you bend over backward trying to make them happy. It was only a matter of time before something broke. You're not calling to convince me to reconcile? I'm calling to tell you that Emma is lucky to have you. And your parents are fools if they can't see that. She paused. For what it's worth, I'd like to take you both out for lunch next week. Get to know my great niece better, if that's okay with you. I felt tears prick my eyes. That would be really nice. After we hung up, Emma looked up from her book. Good news. Yes, sweetheart. Good news. She smiled and went back to reading. I opened my laptop and looked at my bank account. Without the monthly payments to my parents, I'd have an extra $3,000. Without covering their expenses even more. Hey Em, I said. How would you like to go to Disney World this summer? Her eyes went wide. Really? Just us. Just us. We'll make it a whole week. Whatever you want to do. She launched herself at me, wrapping her arms around my neck. Best mom ever. Best daughter ever, I replied. And I meant it. Every word. My phone buzzed one more time that evening. A text from an unknown number. This is your mother. We need to talk. On our terms. I deleted it without responding. Emma and I had a puzzle spread out on the coffee table, hot chocolate cooling on the side table, and a week at the lake house ahead of us. We had everything we needed. Real family doesn't demand your sacrifice while dismissing your worth. Real family doesn't make you choose between loyalty and love. Real family doesn't tell a 9-year-old girl she's not worthy of their name. Real family shows up. Real family chooses you back. And sometimes real family is just a mom and her daughter sitting by a lake finally free. I stared at the Thanksgiving table, watching my 6-year-old daughter Emma sit in the corner chair, the one farthest from the food. My mother had arranged the seating that way on purpose. She'd done it last year too and the year before that. The dining room smelled like roasted turkey and fresh bread. The chandelier cast warm light over the perfectly set table with its cream linens and autumn centerpiece. Everything looked beautiful and festive. Everything except Emma's placement at the far end, isolated from the warmth. Real family eats first, Mom announced, passing the turkey platter around the table. If there's anything left, she can have it. Emma's small hands gripped her empty plate. She didn't cry. She'd learned not to at these dinners. The first year when she was 3, she'd asked why she couldn't eat with everyone else. My mother told her to be grateful she was invited at all. Emma never asked again. My brother Mark laughed. Makes sense. Why waste the good cuts on kids who aren't really part of the family tree? His wife nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. My children have our bloodline. They deserve priority. I sat quietly watching them pile food on their plates. The same turkey I'd paid for. The same sides, the same wine. The same everything I'd been funding for 5 years through monthly transfers to their grocery accounts. They didn't know. They thought some distant relative had left them a small trust that deposited money monthly for food expenses. My father had helped me set it up that way after Emma was born. He'd died 3 years ago, taking the secret with him. Maybe she's not hungry, my sister Jennifer said, eyeing Emma. She looks a bit chubby anyway. Emma was 6 years old and perfectly healthy. But she sat there hearing every word, watching her cousins eat the cranberry sauce she'd helped me pick out at the store last week. I'd been 22 when I got pregnant. The father disappeared before Emma was born. My family's response had been immediate and cruel. They tolerated Emma's existence but made it clear she was lesser, not really family. A mistake I'd made that they had to endure. What they didn't know was that my career in financial consulting had taken off spectacularly. I'd started making serious money by the time Emma was 1. I'd been promoted to senior analyst, then associate partner, then full partner. By the time Emma turned 2, I was handling portfolios worth hundreds of millions. My personal income had grown exponentially. And I'd started paying for everything in their lives. Not just groceries. Everything. I paid my mother's mortgage. The beautiful 4-bedroom house she lived in. The one she was so proud of, the one she hosted these family gatherings in. Every month, $4,000 transferred automatically to cover it. She thought it came from a trust fund left by a distant uncle. I covered Mark's car payments. His Tesla that he loved to show off, talking about how he'd worked so hard to afford it. 3 years of payments, $68,000 total so far. He thought he'd gotten an amazing loan with mysteriously low interest. I funded Jennifer's kids' private school tuition through an anonymous scholarship. $22,000 per child per year. 3 children. She bragged constantly about how her kids had earned merit scholarships. They hadn't. I'd paid every penny. I covered their insurance, their utilities, their credit card bills. The balances they thought were mysteriously getting smaller each month. My brother thought he was managing his finances well. My sister thought she was budgeting successfully. My mother thought she was living comfortably on her late husband's pension. They were all living on my money while treating my daughter like garbage. I'd set it all up through my father before he died. He'd been horrified by how they treated Emma. This was his idea of poetic justice. Letting them be cruel to us while being completely dependent on us for survival. Pass the potatoes, Mark said, deliberately reaching across Emma instead of asking her to pass them. His elbow knocked her water glass. It spilled across her dress. Clumsy, he muttered. Emma looked at me. I gave her a small smile. She smiled back, that brave little smile that broke my heart every time. My mother clucked her tongue. Go clean yourself up. Honestly. Emma slid from her chair and walked to the bathroom. I heard the door close softly. I swear she's so awkward, Jennifer said. Must be genetic from the father's side. They all laughed. I pulled out my phone under the table and opened my banking app. Then I sent a text to my financial advisor. Michael, initiate protocol 7. All of them. Effective immediately. 3 dots appeared. Then, are you certain? This is irreversible. I typed back. Completely certain. Do it now. Done. All accounts frozen and transfers cancelled. Documentation being prepared. I set my phone down and picked up my wine glass. More turkey. Mom asked Mark, already piling seconds onto his plate. Thanks, Mom. This is amazing. That monthly food stipend really helps us afford quality ingredients. I know, Mom said. Thank goodness for Uncle Raymond's foresight, setting up that trust before he died. Uncle Raymond had been dead for 15 years and never had any money. But they believed the story. Emma returned from the bathroom, her dress damp but clean. She went back to her corner seat. "Can I have some turkey now?" she asked quietly. "When everyone's finished with seconds," Mom said dismissively. "Real family first, remember?" Mark's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned, and set it down. Jennifer's phone buzzed next. She picked it up, read something, and her face went pale. "What's wrong?" her husband asked. "My grocery account. It says there's been a freeze on all incoming transfers. Some kind of administrative review." Mark grabbed his phone again. "Mine too. What the hell?" My mother's phone started ringing. She answered it, listened, and her face drained of color. "What do you mean the mortgage payment was declined? The automatic transfer should have gone through this morning." I took another sip of wine. Mark was frantically scrolling through his banking app. "My car payment bounced. And my credit card payment. This doesn't make sense. The monthly deposits should have covered everything." "Maybe it's a bank error," Jennifer's husband suggested. "Call them." They all started calling. Mom to the mortgage company, Mark to his bank, Jennifer to the grocery account customer service line. I cut a small piece of turkey and put it on Emma's plate. Then some stuffing. Some green beans. Cranberry sauce. "Here, sweetheart," I said quietly. She looked at the food, then at me, uncertain. "It's okay. Eat." My mother hung up her phone, her hands shaking. "They said the account that's been making my mortgage payments doesn't exist anymore. It just vanished. They're threatening foreclosure proceedings if I don't make the last 6 months of payments immediately." 6 months. Mark stared at her. "What do you mean 6 months?" "The payments have been coming from some trust account. But apparently that account closed today and now they want back payment for everything that bounced. They're saying I owe them $24,000 immediately." The room went silent except for the sound of phones buzzing and ringing constantly now. Mark's face was white. "My car account too. They're saying the last year of payments is invalid. The account that was paying doesn't exist anymore. I owe them $13,000 immediately, or they're repossessing the car within 48 hours. Jennifer was crying now, mascara streaking down her face. "The scholarship for the kids' school they just called. It's been revoked. Effective immediately. We owe them $45,000 for this year's tuition. They're threatening to expel the kids if we don't pay by Monday. That's 3 days away." Her husband stood up, his face red. "This has to be a mistake. Someone messed up. Banks don't just close accounts like this. They do when the person funding them cancels everything," I said quietly. They all turned to look at me, confusion and panic spreading across their faces. "I don't understand," Mom whispered. "Where did that money come from? Who was paying?" I set down my wine glass. I was. Silence. "What?" Mark said. "I've been paying for everything. Your mortgage, Mom. Every single payment for the last 5 years. Your car, Mark. Every monthly payment for 3 years. The kids' school, Jennifer. Every semester, every fee, every activity cost. Your grocery accounts, all of you. Your utilities. Your insurance. Your credit card minimums. Everything. For 5 years." My mother's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. She looked like she'd been physically struck. "That's impossible," Mark said, though his voice was shaking. "You can't afford all that. You work in consulting. You drive a regular car. You live in a normal apartment. I'm a senior partner at Henderson Financial Group. I made $3.2 million last year. I can afford quite a lot. I chose to live modestly because I was spending roughly $200,000 annually keeping all of you afloat." The number hung in the air. $200,000 per year. For 5 years. Jennifer made a choking sound. Her husband sat down heavily, his face gray. I pulled out my phone and turned it around, showing them my banking app. The balance was clearly visible. Jennifer made another choking sound. "Dad helped me set it up," I continued calmly. "Before he died. He thought it would be educational for you to learn what dependence feels like. He was disgusted by how you treated Emma." "Emma is your mistake," Mom said, her voice shaking with anger now. "We had every right to. You had every right to treat a child like garbage while eating food I bought?" I interrupted, my voice still calm. "You had every right to make my daughter watch while you fed your children first, with money I provided?" Mark stood up. "You can't do this. You can't just cut us off." "I already did. 2 minutes ago. Every account is frozen. Every automatic payment is cancelled. Everything. But we'll lose everything, Jennifer sobbed. The house. Her. The kids' school. Yes, I said simply. You will. My mother's face was red now, tears streaming down her cheeks. Please. Please don't do this. We'll apologize. We'll do better. Emma can eat first from now on. Whatever you want. I looked at Emma. She was eating her turkey quietly, watching everyone with wide eyes. Emma, honey, would you like some pie? I saw they brought your favorite, pumpkin. She nodded slowly. I stood up, cut her a large slice of pumpkin pie, added whipped cream and set it in front of her. The thing is, I said, turning back to my family, Emma doesn't need to eat first. She doesn't need special treatment. She just needed to be treated like a human being. Like family. And you couldn't even manage that. We didn't know, Mark said desperately, standing up from his chair. We didn't know you were paying for everything. If we'd known. You would have what? Treated Emma with basic human decency? That's the problem, Mark. You shouldn't have needed a financial incentive to be kind to a child. You should have just been decent human beings. But you couldn't even manage that. My mother was sobbing now, mascara running down her face in black streaks. What do you want from us? Tell us what to do to fix this. I'll apologize. We'll all apologize. Emma can eat first at every meal. She can have whatever she wants. Just please, please don't do this. I picked up my purse and took Emma's hand. Her small fingers wrapped around mine, warm and trusting. I don't want anything from you. I don't want apologies that only come because your money disappeared. I don't want Emma to eat first because you're scared of losing your house. I just wanted you to understand what it feels like to have everything taken away by people who are supposed to love you. Where are you going? Jennifer asked frantically, standing up too. You can't just leave. We need to talk about this. We need to figure out a payment plan or something. Home. Emma and I are going to have a proper Thanksgiving dinner. Just the two of us. With food I bought. In a home I pay for. Surrounded by love instead of contempt. Wait, Mom said, grabbing my arm. Please. Let's talk about this. We can figure something out. I gently removed her hand. There's nothing to figure out. You'll need to get jobs. Real jobs. Cover your own expenses. Live within your means. It's what you've been telling me to do for years, right? Time to take your own advice. Mark was scrolling through his phone frantically. The utility company is calling. They're saying the payment for the last 3 months bounced. That's because I canceled them, I said. Along with everything else. But it's winter, Jennifer said. We have children. So do I replied, squeezing Emma's hand. I have a child who just spent another holiday being treated like trash while you ate food I provided. I'm done now. I walked toward the door, Emma beside me. You're a monster, my mother shouted behind me. Doing this to your own family. I turned back one last time. No, Mom. I'm just treating you exactly how you treated my daughter. The difference is, Emma is innocent. You're not. We walked out into the cold November evening. Emma was quiet until we got to the car. Mommy, are they going to be okay? I buckled her into her car seat and kissed her forehead. They'll figure it out, sweetheart. They're adults. Are we still going to see them? I thought about that for a moment. Not for a while, baby. Not until they learn to be kind. Okay, she said softly. Then even softer, I'm glad I got to eat the turkey. I drove us home, my phone buzzing constantly with calls and texts from my family. I didn't answer any of them. At home, I made Emma hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. We sat on the couch together and I read her favorite book twice. My phone was still buzzing with messages from Mark, Jennifer, and cousins I hadn't heard from in years, all asking what was happening, begging me to reconsider. I turned my phone off. Emma fell asleep against my shoulder, her face peaceful. Tomorrow I'd call my lawyer and make sure the documentation was airtight. But tonight I just held my daughter and felt lighter than I had in 5 years. They'd learn to survive. Either way, Emma would never again watch other children eat first while she waited for scraps. And that was worth everything. The spring sunlight filtered through my parents' dining room windows as the family gathered for what Mom called Celebration Sunday. I watched my son Marcus, 10 years old, with his father's dark eyes and my stubborn chin, sit quietly at the kids' table while my sister Jennifer's son Tyler strutted around showing off his new phone. Everyone gather around, Dad announced, his voice carrying that particular tone he used when he wanted to make a point. We have some exciting news to share. I stood near the kitchen doorway holding my coffee, already knowing this wouldn't include us. It never did. Jennifer beamed as she positioned Tyler in the center of the living room. My brother David and his wife Amanda flanked them, phones ready to capture the moment. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a tissue, and the performance hadn't even started yet. Tyler, Dad said, pulling an envelope from his jacket pocket. You've worked so hard this year. Straight A's, captain of the soccer team, early acceptance to State University. Tyler's grin widened. He was 17, tall and confident in the way kids are when they've never been told no. We're so proud of you, Mom added, her voice thick with emotion. So we wanted to do something special. Dad handed over the envelope. Tyler opened it, and his shout of joy made Marcus flinch beside me. Car keys? You bought me a car. The family erupted in celebration. Jennifer hugged Tyler while crying. David clapped him on the back. Amanda was already posting photos to social media. Dad led everyone outside to see the silver sedan in the driveway, a bow stuck to the hood. I stayed in the doorway with Marcus. Mom, he whispered. Can we go see? Sure, buddy. We walked out together. The family crowded around the car, taking turns sitting in the driver's seat checking the sound system. Tyler revved the engine while everyone cheered. Marcus stood at the edge of the lawn watching. Pretty cool, right? I asked quietly. He nodded, but his eyes held that particular sadness that broke my heart every single time. After 20 minutes of celebration, we drifted back inside. Mom had set out cake because of course she had. This was a production. Marcus, Mom called as we entered. I almost forgot. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small plastic bag. 3 pieces of candy from the dollar store still attached to the cardboard backing. Here you go, sweetie. I saw these and thought of you. Marcus took them, his small hands gentle. Thank you, Grandma. Dollar store candy is fine for your son, Mom said to me, not even lowering her voice. Tyler's the successful one. He's earned real rewards. Tyler works hard, Dad added, nodding. He's going places. Got the grades, the ambition, the drive. The implication hung heavy. Unlike your son. Unlike you. I smiled and set down my coffee cup. Thanks for thinking of him, Mom. We should get going. Already? We just cut the cake. Marcus has homework. In the car, Marcus held his dollar store candy and didn't say anything for 3 blocks. Mom. Yeah, buddy. Why does Grandma like Tyler better? I gripped the steering wheel. It's not about liking anyone better. But he got a car and I got candy. Tyler's 17. You're 10. When you're 17, things will be different. He nodded, but we both knew I was lying. Things wouldn't be different. They never were. That night, after Marcus went to bed, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop and looked at my calendar. The emails were already coming in. From Mom. Jennifer's engagement party, June 15th, Oakmont Country Club. Save the date. From Jennifer. Need to finalize numbers for the venue. So excited. From David. Mom said you're helping coordinate? The club has our deposit. I closed the laptop and poured myself some wine. 2 weeks later, my phone rang during my lunch break. Mom's name flashed on the screen. Honey, we have a situation. What's wrong? The country club called. They said they need the owner's signature to process our deposit for Jennifer's engagement party. Some new policy. Can you believe the bureaucracy? I took a sip of water. That does sound frustrating. They gave us some name, a property management company. Westfield Holdings. Do you know anyone there? Maybe you could call them? I'm sure it's just a formality, but Jennifer's panicking. Westfield Holdings. Yes. They manage the club now, apparently. New ownership as of last year. The woman on the phone was very firm about needing authorization signatures. I set down my water carefully. I'll look into it. Oh, thank you, honey. I knew we could count on you for something. I hung up and stared at my phone. Westfield Holdings. The property management company I'd created 6 years ago. The same company that now owned Oakmont Country Club, the Riverside Event Center, the Grand Hotel's ballroom, and 4 other premier venues in the county. My phone rang again. Jennifer this time. Did Mom call you? Just now. This is a disaster. The engagement party is in 8 weeks. We have deposits down, invitations ordered, and now they're saying we need some signature from the owner? Who even is this owner? Some corporate suit who doesn't care about people's important events. I'm sure it will work out. Can you help? You're good at this stuff. Making calls, handling paperwork. That's what you do, right? I'll see what I can do. Thank you. God, I don't know what we'd do without you handling the boring stuff. The boring stuff. Like building a property portfolio worth $43 million. That evening, David called. Hey, so this venue thing is getting complicated. Mom's freaking out. Jennifer's crying. Dad's threatening to sue the country club. Sue them for what? Breach of contract or something. He's furious. We've been using that club for every family event for 15 years. His retirement party, Jennifer's graduation, Tyler's soccer banquets. And now some new owner is playing hardball. New ownership often means new policies. Yeah, well, this owner better figure it out fast. We've got Jennifer's engagement party in June, Tyler's graduation celebration in July, Mom and Dad's anniversary party in August. 3 events already booked and paid for. I pulled up my company files on my laptop. Sure enough, all 3 events. All at venues I owned. That's a lot of events, I said. Tell me about it. And now this ownership signature thing is holding everything up. Mom tried to get the club manager on the phone, but apparently everything goes through this Westfield Holdings company now. Very corporate. Very cold. I'm sure they have their reasons. Whose side are you on? I'm not on any side, David. I'm just saying businesses have processes. He sighed. Can you at least try to help? Make some calls? You're good at the background stuff. The background stuff. The boring stuff. The things that don't matter because I'm not the successful one. I'll make some calls, I said. 3 days later, I received an email from my property manager, Linda, who handled day-to-day operations for all my venues. Sarah, your family has been calling multiple times daily. Your mother showed up at the country club in person and caused a scene with the events coordinator. Your father threatened legal action. Your sister offered to go over our heads to the owner. Should I continue standard protocol, or do you want to handle this personally? I wrote back, continue standard protocol. All events require owner authorization as stated in the new contracts. Linda replied, understood. For the record, I've never seen your family treat service staff this poorly. The coordinator almost quit yesterday. That night, Mom called again. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what they told Jennifer today? That without owner authorization, they'll have to cancel the reservation and we'll lose our deposit. $5,000. That seems like something you should take up with the venue. We are taking it up with them. But they keep saying it's policy. New ownership, new rules. Well, I want to speak to this owner. What kind of person creates policies that ruin families' special events? Maybe they have good reasons. Good reasons? What good reason is there to hold people's celebrations hostage? I didn't answer. Jennifer's devastated, Mom continued. This was supposed to be her perfect engagement party. We've been planning for months. And Tyler's graduation celebration. That's already got 50 people confirmed. And your father's retirement party in September. We've had that venue booked for over a year. You have a lot of events planned. Yes, and now they're all in jeopardy because of some corporate owner who won't sign a simple authorization. It's like they want to destroy our family milestones. I'm sure that's not their intention. Well, what is their intention then? To make our lives difficult? To flex their power? It's cruel, that's what it is. Cruel. Like giving a 10-year-old boy dollar store candy while his cousin gets a car. Maybe you should speak directly with the owner, I said. I've tried. They won't tell us who the owner is. Everything goes through this management company, Westfield Holdings. They're like a wall. No one will give us answers. Have you tried asking me? Silence. What? You've called me 3 times now asking for help. But you haven't asked me the right question. I don't understand. Who owns Westfield Holdings, Mom? More silence. Then, how would you know that? Because I created it. 6 years ago. Right after Marcus was born, and you told me I'd never amount to anything because I'd chosen to be a single mother. I heard her breath catch. The country club you love so much? I bought it when the original owners retired. The Riverside Event Center where you held Tyler's soccer banquets? Why? The Grand Hotel Ballroom where Dad's retirement party is booked? Also mine. Every single venue you've used for family events in the past 4 years. I own them. That's not possible. It's very possible. I'm the owner who needs to authorize your events. I'm the person whose signature you need. Me. The one with the unsuccessful son who only deserves dollar store candy. Sarah, Linda will email you the authorization forms tomorrow. For Jennifer's engagement party. You'll need to read the new contract terms carefully. There are provisions about how venue staff are treated. Respect requirements. Dignity clauses. We didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant every word. Tyler's the successful one. Marcus just gets candy. I handle the boring background stuff while you celebrate the real achievements. How long have you owned these venues? Does it matter? We've been coming to these places for years. You never said anything. You never asked. You never ask anything about my life. My work, what I do when I'm not at family celebrations watching you fawn over Tyler and ignore my son. Dad's voice came on the line. Mom must have put me on speaker. Now wait just a minute. No, Dad. You wait. Every authorization form will require a meeting with me, in person at each venue, where you'll meet the staff you've been rude to, the coordinators you've threatened, the managers you've tried to intimidate. And you'll apologize. This is blackmail. This is business. These are my properties, my staff, my reputation. If you want to use my venues, you follow my rules. That includes treating people with basic human decency. Jennifer's engagement party will happen if you meet my terms. So will Tyler's graduation. So will your anniversary party and Dad's retirement. But not before you understand that the person you've been dismissing for years, the one who only deserves to handle boring background stuff, is the same person who controls whether your precious celebrations happen at all. Jennifer's voice tearful. Sarah, please. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. None of you did. It was easier to think I was struggling, barely getting by, handling paperwork because that's all I was capable of. While Marcus watched his cousin get cars and trips and praise and he got dollar store candy. We'll do whatever you want, Mom said. Just please don't cancel the events. I'm not canceling anything. But you will sign new contracts. You will meet with each venue coordinator personally and apologize. You will attend a meeting with me and Linda where we review proper behavior expectations. And you will write Marcus a letter explaining why he deserves better than being treated like a consolation prize at his own family gatherings. Silence. Those are the terms, I said. You have 48 hours to agree. After that, I release your reservation holds and you can find new venues on your own. I hung up. The next morning, Linda forwarded me an email. Mom had already scheduled meetings at all 3 venues. Jennifer had written a formal apology to the events coordinator. Dad had agreed to the contract terms. And there was one more email from Mom to me, not through Linda. We'll do everything you asked. But please know we never understood how hard you were working. How much you built. We should have seen it. We should have celebrated you the way we celebrated Tyler. We're sorry we made Marcus feel less than. He deserves better. You both do. I read it twice, then called Marcus into my office. Hey buddy, want to help me with some work? His eyes lit up. Really? Really? I need someone to help me review venue contracts. And I thought you might want to see the country club, the one where your cousin's graduation party is going to be. We're going there? We own it. So yes, we're going there. He stared at me. We own the country club? We own several places. Want to see them? He nodded, speechless. As we drove to the first venue, Marcus asked, Mom? Does this mean Grandma was wrong? About what? About Tyler being the only successful one. I reached over and squeezed his hand. Tyler's got his successes. But so do we. And from now on, everyone's going to know it. At the country club, Linda met us at the entrance. Sarah, your mother's waiting in the events office. She's been here since we opened. Good. Marcus, want to meet the people who work for us. He nodded, standing taller. We walked through the doors of my venue. My property, my success. And this time my son walked in knowing exactly where he belonged. Right beside me. The gaming laptop sat on the kitchen counter at Mom's house. Right where my son Jake had left it during our weekly Sunday dinner. He was 14 and had saved for 8 months from his lawn mowing jobs to buy that machine. I'd watched him wake up at 6 every Saturday morning that summer, loading the mower into our truck before the heat became unbearable. $15 per lawn, sometimes 20 if the yard was large or overgrown. He kept a spreadsheet tracking every job, every dollar, calculating how many more lawns until he hit his goal. $847. That's what the custom-built system cost after he'd spent weeks researching components, watching comparison videos and reading reviews from other gamers. He knew the exact specifications of the graphics card, the processing speed and the cooling system capabilities. When he finally had enough saved, we'd driven to the computer store together, and I'd never seen him more proud than when he paid in cash, mostly 20s and 10s, counted out carefully on the counter. That was 6 weeks ago. The laptop had become his prized possession, treated with the kind of care most kids reserve for nothing. "I'll grab it next time," I told him as we headed home that evening. "It's safer at Grandma's than leaving it in the car overnight. You know how hot it gets." He'd hesitated, protective of his investment, but finally nodded. "Hey, but I need it back by Thursday. The tournament starts Friday." My brother Dennis had other plans. 3 days later, I stopped by Mom's place to pick up the laptop before Jake's online tournament that weekend. The counter was empty. "Mom, where's Jake's laptop?" She looked up from her crossword puzzle, barely interested. "What laptop?" "The gaming one. Jake left it here Sunday." It was right on the counter. "Must have gotten moved somewhere." "Check the den." I searched the den, the living room, even the garage. Nothing. Dennis arrived with his 11-year-old son Tyler just as I was checking the basement. Tyler rushed past me, clutching something that made my stomach drop. A gaming laptop. Jake's gaming laptop, with the distinctive custom stickers he'd carefully applied. "Hey buddy," I called out. "That's a nice laptop." Tyler beamed. "Dad got it for me. For getting good grades." Dennis appeared behind him, not even flinching. "The kid earned it. Straight A's this semester." "That's Jake's laptop," I said quietly. "This is Tyler's laptop," Dennis corrected, his voice flat. "I bought it for him 2 days ago. It has Jake's stickers on it. Lots of kids use those stickers. You can get them anywhere." Mom emerged from the kitchen, and I saw her expression shift the moment she realized where this was going. "What's going on?" Dennis took Jake's laptop and gave it to Tyler. "Oh, for heaven's sake," Mom snapped. "Stop causing trouble." Dennis wouldn't do that. "Mom, look at the stickers." "Enough. Tyler has a new laptop. Jake probably took his home and forgot. You're always trying to start something with your brother." Dennis smirked, just slightly, just enough for me to see it but not enough for Mom to notice. "Maybe check Jake's room better. Kids lose things all the time." I pulled out my phone and showed Mom the photo Jake had taken of himself with the laptop at her house, the timestamp visible. Sunday evening, right in her kitchen. She barely glanced at it. "Photos don't prove anything. Dennis said he bought this one Tuesday. Maybe they just look similar." Tyler was already upstairs, probably installing games, completely unaware he was using stolen property. I could have pushed harder. Could have grabbed the laptop right there. Could have called the police and made a scene that would have split the family permanently. The evidence was right in front of us. Jake's distinctive custom stickers, the exact model, the timing, all matching perfectly. Instead I said, "Understood," and walked out. The drive home felt longer than usual. I kept replaying the smirk on Dennis's face, the casual way he'd lied, the ease with which Mom had dismissed me. She hadn't even entertained the possibility. Just automatic defense of her golden child, the way it had always been. Jake was devastated. 8 months. He kept repeating that night, sitting on his bed, staring at the empty space on his desk where the laptop usually sat. 8 months of waking up early. 8 months of pushing that stupid mower in the heat. "I know, buddy. Mrs. Henderson's yard was half an acre. It took me 3 hours and she only paid $15. Mr. Chen's dog kept barking at me. The Morrison place had that hill that made the mower so heavy. He was listing them now, all the lawns, all the work. I saved everything. I didn't even buy lunch at school so I could save faster." My throat felt tight. "I know. Can't you just take it back? Just go over there and take it." "Not without proof that will make Grandma listen." "You told her." I showed her the picture. She didn't want to believe it. He looked at me with 14-year-old eyes that suddenly seemed much older. "She believed Uncle Dennis instead of us." "Yes. That's messed up, Dad." "Yeah. It really is. What Jake didn't know was that 6 months earlier, after Mom's house had been broken into, I'd installed a security camera system for her. 4 cameras covered all entry points: the front door, back door, garage, and the side gate that led to the backyard. She'd asked me to set it up after someone had broken a window and stolen her television while she was at her book club. The neighborhood had been experiencing a string of break-ins that summer. I'd spent a weekend running cables, mounting cameras, and configuring the system to save footage to a cloud server that I managed. Mom had been grateful, checking the camera feeds obsessively for the first few weeks, then gradually forgetting about them as the neighborhood incidents stopped. I'd never told her I kept the administrative access. I never thought I'd need it for something like this. The system was supposed to protect her from strangers, not document her son stealing from his nephew. That night, after Jake finally fell asleep, I opened my laptop and logged into the security system. The interface loaded slowly, showing thumbnail images from all 4 cameras. I selected the backdoor camera and scrolled through the timeline. I pulled up the footage from Sunday night through Wednesday morning. Sunday at 8:47 p.m. showed Jake and me leaving through the front door, visible on that camera. I switched to the kitchen view, the laptop clearly visible on the counter under the overhead light, its distinctive stickers catching the camera's glare. Monday, nothing. The laptop sat untouched. Tuesday, nothing. The counter remained the same. Wednesday at 2:15 p.m., Dennis entered through the back door. He had a key Mom had given him years ago. The camera captured him walking straight to the kitchen, looking around, then picking up the laptop. He examined it for maybe 10 seconds, then tucked it under his jacket and left through the same back door. 90 seconds total. Clean and deliberate. I downloaded the footage and waited. Thanksgiving came and went. We didn't attend. Mom called twice asking why. I told her we had other plans. Party approached. Mom called again. You're coming to party dinner, right? The whole family will be here. I don't think so, Mom. Don't be ridiculous. Whatever issue you think you have with Dennis, you need to get over it. Family is family. We'll see. On December 23rd, she called again, more insistent. I need to know how many people to cook for. Are you coming or not? Why does it matter to you? Last time I was there, you made it clear whose side you're on. I don't have sides. You're both my sons. But you can't keep Jake away from his grandmother over some misunderstanding about a laptop. It wasn't a misunderstanding. Dennis said he bought Tyler that computer. I believe him. He wouldn't steal from his own nephew. Okay, Mom. So you're not coming? I didn't say that. Jake and I will come for dessert. Around 7. She sounded relieved. Good. Good. Dennis and his family will be there all day, but I'm glad you'll at least stop by. On party evening, Jake and I arrived at 6:55 p.m. The house was full. Dennis and his wife Tyler, my sister and her husband, their 2 kids, and Mom's sister visiting from Nevada. The television was on, showing some holiday movie. Wrapping paper littered the floor. Mom hugged Jake tight. I've missed you, sweetheart. Missed you too, Grandma. Dennis nodded at me from the couch. Tyler was in the corner on Jake's laptop, completely absorbed in a game. We made small talk for about 20 minutes. Mom kept pushing cookies at Jake. My sister asked about work. Everything was aggressively normal, everyone pretending the last 3 months of silence hadn't happened. Finally, Mom couldn't help herself. So, are we going to talk about why you've been avoiding family dinners? The room went quiet. The movie played on, but everyone was listening now. I wasn't avoiding family dinners, I said. I was avoiding being told I'm a liar. Nobody called you a liar, Mom said, though her voice was defensive. You did. When I told you Dennis took Jake's laptop, you said I was causing trouble. Dennis set down his coffee. We're doing this now? On party. You brought $800 worth of stolen property into Mom's house and gave it to your son. Yeah, we're doing this now. I bought that laptop, Dennis said, his voice hard. I have a receipt. Show me. I don't have to prove anything to you. Mom stood up. Both of you stop. I won't have this fighting on party. Then you should probably see this, I said, pulling out my tablet. I'd loaded the security footage ready to play. Remember when you asked me to install cameras after the break-in? They're still running. Mom's face went pale. What? I pressed play. The footage showed the kitchen, the timestamp clearly visible. December 20th, 2:15 p.m. Dennis entered through the back door. went straight to the counter, picked up the laptop, hid it under his jacket and left. The room was completely silent. Even the kids had stopped moving. Tyler looked up from the laptop, confused. "Dad." Dennis's wife stared at him. "You said you bought that from Best Buy." "I can explain," Dennis started. "Explain what?" I asked. "Explain how you stole from a 14-year-old. Explain how you lied to your wife, your son, and our mother." Mom was staring at the tablet screen, watching the footage loop. I'd set it to replay automatically. Again and again. Dennis entering, taking the laptop, leaving. "You stole from my grandson," she whispered. "It's not that simple," Dennis said, standing up. "Jake doesn't need a laptop that expensive. Tyler has straight A's. He deserved something you stole?" Mom's voice rose. "You used the key I gave you for emergencies to break into my house and steal from your nephew?" "I didn't break in. I have a key." "That's not what the key is for." He was shouting now. "Get out. Mom. Get out of my house. No. You and your family, get out." Dennis's wife was already gathering their things, her face red with either anger or embarrassment. Tyler carefully set the laptop down on the coffee table, looking like he might cry. "This is ridiculous," Dennis tried. "Over a laptop. Over you being a thief." Mom yelled. "Over you making me call my other son a liar for 3 months. Over you teaching your child that stealing is acceptable if you come up with a good enough excuse." My sister was recording on her phone now. Dennis noticed and glared at her. "You're recording this?" "Yeah," she said flatly. "Because I want to remember the moment our brother got caught stealing from a kid." Dennis and his family were gone within 5 minutes. The house felt bigger with them absent. Mom sat down heavily on the couch, still staring at the tablet. 3 months. I defended him for 3 months. "I know. You knew the whole time. You had this video the whole time." "Yes. Why didn't you show me sooner? Would you have watched it? Or would you have found a way to explain it away?" She didn't answer, which was answer enough. Jake picked up his laptop from the coffee table, running his fingers over the custom stickers. "Can I take this home now?" "Yeah, buddy. It's yours." Mom looked at him, tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry, Jake. I should have believed your dad. I should have believed you." Jake shrugged, uncomfortable with adult emotions. "It's okay, Grandma. It's not okay. Your uncle stole from you and I took his side." My sister spoke up. "For what it's worth, I never believed Dennis bought that laptop. Those exact stickers? Come on. But you know how Mom gets about him." "I'm right here," Mom said, but there was no heat in it. "I know. And you need to hear it. Dennis has been the golden child since we were kids. He gets away with everything because you let him." Mom didn't argue. She just sat there looking older than I'd ever seen her. The rest of party was quiet. We ate pie. Jake showed his cousins a game on his laptop. My sister's husband asked me about the camera system specs. Around 9, as Jake and I were leaving, Mom walked us to the door. "I changed the locks today," she said. "Dennis's key won't work anymore." "Good. And I'm going to pay Jake back for the 3 months he didn't have his laptop. For the tournaments he missed." Jake's eyes widened. "Grandma, you don't have to." "I do. Your uncle stole from you. I enabled it. That has consequences." She hugged us both, holding on longer than usual. In the car, Jake was quiet until we hit the highway. "Dad." "Yeah. Why didn't you just show Grandma the video right away?" "Back in September. I thought about it. Because sometimes people need to be ready to see the truth. If I'd shown her then, she would have found a way not to believe it. She needed to choose first to want to know the truth." "That's really complicated." "Yeah. Family usually is." He went back to looking out the window, the laptop bag secure on his lap. My phone buzzed. A text from my sister. "Dennis is posting on Facebook that you edited the security footage. Just FYI." I didn't bother responding. The people who mattered knew the truth. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet moment when someone finally sees clearly what they'd been refusing to look at. Sometimes it's a laptop returned and a lock changed. Sometimes that's enough. Jake had his laptop back. Mom had her eyes opened. Dennis had consequences. The rest would sort itself out.